In an ideal world, we would hardly have any weeds in the garden beds, or we would be weeding so frequently that there would never really be a problem. But sometimes growing spaces can get overrun with weeds fairly quickly in the spring, especially when we are distracted or busy or need to deal with more important things or are simply negligent. And I have a lot of growing spaces like that this spring, with a lot of beds that I basically haven't touched since the autumn. These beds are full of weeds, most of them from seeds that would have blown in, but also from the remains of some crops. And some of these weeds are flowering and even starting to set seeds, so I need to clear them as much as I can quickly before things get worse. I could methodically and carefully dig out each individual weed or dig over a full bed, and I have done that in places. But my preferred method, especially when there's a big mix of weeds including grasses, is to use this sharp spade with a long handle to cut off all the weeds just below the surface of the soil. And then I can gather the top parts of the plants, shake off any soil, and remove them to the compost pile, which will hopefully get hot enough to kill off any of the weed seeds that develop. I call this method scalping the soil or scalping the weeds, and I found this to be the fastest and easiest way to remove the overgrown vegetation and get it off the beds, and to kill off any of the smaller weed seedlings in the process. Cutting most plants at the top of the root or the base of the stem will kill them, but of course some weeds like dandelion and dock will automatically regrow from the roots. But I could easily dig them out individually when the regrowth appears. Once the soil is scalped, it is easy to cover the bed with mulch or compost and cardboard if necessary, and continue with reduced tillage methods. Or I have a clear bed that is a lot easier to dig over or cultivate. But I find that even if I let it sit for a few weeks after scalping, a lot of the smaller roots will have started to decompose, making the soil a lot easier to break up. So I am doing a lot of soil scalping these days, and I need to make sure that I keep the spade as sharp as I can, which makes the job a lot easier.